want to officially welcome you all to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy, where we are passionate about developing leaders and corporate executives. And so once again, you're officially welcome to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy.
How do you build a complete institution of the sort and resign from it? And I always remind them, stepping back is part of leadership.
All I want to say is that we don't take these decisions arbitrarily or based on intuition.
Very well, a very good evening to you all, and thank you for making time to join the conversation. This is our mop-up, more like a second round of information session, because we've run the main one, except that for a few persons who were unable to join the main information session, we had to run a second round just to ensure that they also have opportunity to understand all there is to know if you want to become a professional in business strategy. So my name is Jeff Basse. I coordinate the team at the Institute of Leadership and Strategy. Leadership and Strategy, Institute of Leadership and Strategy, have been focusing on one executive certificate in leadership. We also run executive certificate in strategy, and the very one you have just signed up for or you want to understand now, which is the Global Professional Certification in Strategy. We also coordinate or lead facilitation of in-house trainings in executive development, leadership, teams, and people management. We've done that for well over 200 organizations. And then finally, we facilitate strategy sessions. We lead strategic planning, strategy formulation, and some of the time, the development of the strategic document itself. Altogether, more than 60 organizations. These are but just a handful or a few of the organizations that have engaged our services in years past. We facilitate sessions for Bank of Ghana, for Talo Oil, for the Bank Hospital, Marriott Hotel, Coca-Cola, Absa Bank, Ghana Stock Exchange, Casa Precon, Prudential Life Insurance, Holat, Kempinski Hotel. We've been with Bank of Africa. We were the consultants who were in charge of the closure of the USAID in Ghana, etc. So a few organizations have gone through our hands in the name of consulting and, for that matter, training services in areas of leadership and strategy. Right. So the reason we are here this evening is to understand what it is or what it takes to become a professionally certified person in strategy, a professionally certified person in strategy. Now, so this is a global certification for people who are managers who demonstrate knowledge, skills, and competences in strategy, and are then, certified by a professional body as persons who have gone through the rigor of training in strategy in order to certify. We indeed have run 8 cohorts of this program. This is our 9th cohort we are preparing for. I will soon be covering the course content areas, who our instructors are, and even who qualifies to go through, this program. We've had, officers from various organizations, both public and private. For the public, we had a chief director, the presidency, director of passports. We've had the registrar general of Ghana, a lot of officers from Bank of Ghana, from GCB Bank, from Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority, from Ghana Revenue Authority, etc. In the private sector, several managers of Absa Bank, of Stanbic Bank, of MTN, of Casa Preco, of a few organizations here and there have gone through this professional certification. And our ninth cohort is penciled to take off on 28th of February. February 28th is the takeoff of the next cohort. One may ask, what are the key modules? First and foremost, this is an 8 modular course taken in a duration of 8 weeks. So more or less, we focus on one module per week. And within 8 weeks, you would have gone through all the modules. The very first module, which is our module 1, is understanding the environment of strategy. Understanding the environment of strategy. We were on City FM on Wednesday, and the host, Bernard Avle, asked us that question: why must people understand the environment of strategy? And I'm always quick to add that so many people have risen to management roles and still do not appreciate what strategy is. Indeed, we have facilitated strategy sessions for quite a number of companies, more than 60 companies in Ghana. And when you get into the strategy planning room or the strategy session, by engaging them, you realize that quite a number of them do not quite understand. Meanwhile, mastering the skills of strategy is quite imperative for succeeding in corporate as far as the managerial ladder is concerned. Now, Boston Consulting Group conducted a research on managers and their percentages that understand strategy at the top. By now, you should know that management is on 3 layers. The junior managers, those are branch managers, line managers, etc. In a typical bank, for instance, a branch manager will be considered as a layer 1 manager. But then we have level 2 or layer 2 managers who are senior managers who oversee or manage managers. So as much as the junior managers manage people and activities, senior managers manage managers. So sometimes you can put together, say, 7 to 8 branches, depending on the cosmopolitan nature of the environment. You put them into one area and commit to a senior manager called an area manager. That manager's work is to, oversee branch managers within the catchment area. Then the highest, and for that matter, the third layer or level of management are the executive managers. I'm talking about the C-suite executive level managers, chief executive officer, chief finance officer, chief operations officer, chief HR officer, chief marketing officer, chief IT, name it. These people manage the organization. They don't focus on department or catchment areas, etc. Now, Boston Consulting Group sought to suggest that those who are the layer 1 management level, as much as 72% of them do not understand or appreciate what strategy is. Then those at layer 2, senior managers, also have some 58% of them not understanding strategy. The shocker is the ones who are even able to rise to C-suite executive levels, still having about some 24% of that. That's about a quarter of managers at the C-suite level not quite understanding what strategy is. And you simply cannot, survive or make that great deal an impact if you want to rise to that C-level executive roles in the organization without very good confidence in strategy. So module number 1, we take time to help managers understand and appreciate the whole idea about the whole conversation about strategy. And when we talk about that, we are referring to strategy at the corporate level and how it cascades or trickles down to business level strategies and down to functional strategy. And you must find that congruency, that coherence between the business level strategy and the corporate unit strategy. And for that matter, how all functions from marketing to HR to operations to finance to IT to R&D, procurement, etc., How do we get them analogous to the direction the organization wants to go? The first thing we do at module number 1 is to help you appreciate the environment of strategy. Yes, many people say, oh, strategy is all about positioning to gain competitive advantage. Yes, strategy has a lot to do with competition, but strategy goes way beyond competition. It is fundamentally about ability to relate an organization to its environment, understanding the organization's circumstances, appreciating what the external environment is, and devising ways and means to win in that market. So strategy also has to do with how do we get our what's, much beyond how do we just outcompete. A strategy was all about competition. Then when Nokia suffered from tunnel vision and eventually they collapsed, which was orchestrated by BlackBerry. BlackBerry came with a single agenda of ensuring that Nokia is dealt with. They succeeded at dealing with Nokia. Where are they themselves, BlackBerry? So that we say that strategy have to do with choices, the ability to have the courage to make choices, to help the organization navigate all the dark clouds in order to arrive at the blue sky. Module number 2 is on strategic planning process. That whole idea of strategic planning. Now, I normally say that I think the word strategy itself is prestigious. People just want to associate with it. We are going for strategy session. We are doing strategic planning. Do you really appreciate all the factors and all the things we consider in order to build a 5-year, a 3-year strategy for an organization? So we take you through the entire process. It's normally a 4-step process in developing a cogent, strategic plan for an organization. We have led strategic plan development for quite a number of organizations in this country. We just delivered that of the Bank of Ghana Hospital. That's the bank hospital 5-year strategy. We've been involved in strategy conversations with Casa Precon, with Prudential Life Insurance, with DevTraco. We've done strategy plan for a few banks here and there. How do you go through? What does it mean to lead a strategy planning process? Then we have module number 3, which we call strategy formulation. To the extent that the business world changes that thick and fast, we say that strategies themselves are not static plans. Yes, that strategy you are developing is not a static plan. It is fluid, it is emergent, it must be reviewed frequently to commensurate the exogenous or external changes. Now, this is what Jack Welch said. Jack Welch was the former chief executive officer of General Electric. He said, when the rate of change on the outside exceeds the rate of change on the inside, the end to that establishment is in sight. The end to that company is in sight if the internal responses do not commensurate those exogenous forces, how fast the consumer preferences is changing, how fast technology is dictating how business is done, even the industry dynamics, government legislation, etc. If the organization's internal responses do not commensurate those external forces, chances are that company will soon pack and go home. To that extent, even if you put together a 5-year or a 3-year strategic plan, every 1 year, the organization got to go back to do what we call strategy formulation. You have to reformulate the strategy in order to suit the external environment. That we do for quite a number of firms. This quarter, first quarter of the year, normally every Q1, we are that busy. As we speak now, from Monday, that's tomorrow is Sunday, from Monday to Friday, we are with the Parliament House of Ghana, helping them on how to deliver on their 5-year strategy. That will be done quite or somewhere outside of Accra, but it's taken off this Monday for all directors of Parliament House. And proud to that, we have done that for Royal Crown Packaging, which is a sister company of Casa Precon. We've been with Sysmes, which is a medical supply firm, Bank Hospital. We've been with a number of the rural banks across the country as to how to reformulate their strategy for the 2026 financial year. Our module number 4 is on competitive and growth strategy. Competitive and growth strategy. How do you, position the organization to compete? How do you lead growth conversations in the organization, from the market development tactics to product development to diversification to retrenchment, etc. Then module number 5 is on organizational change and transformation. To the extent that strategies are not static plans, when you put them in place, you have had to be leading a lot of changes even within the strategy. Because when it comes to execution itself or implementation is about delivering what is planned on time, on budget, however, with minimum variation. So there will be some variation between the strategy the organization is pursuing and what the managers actually do on the ground because of the business dynamics changing some of the time. When those changes come, what do you do in order not to throw the entire strategy of the organization out of gear? I normally say that change management itself is a leadership and strategy agenda. And so we take you through cogent change management, how to manage, how to still lead the organization in turbulence, in crisis, in disruptive environment of technology, etc. Then module number 6 is on strategy governance. I normally say that the true custodian of an organization's strategy is the board. So the board helps to paint that, blue sky picture, which trickles down to the management team led by the CEO, helping to navigate the dark clouds in order to deliver on product promises in the strategy. How do you govern the entire process to be sure that eventually the strategic plan sees the light of day? Module number 7 is quite a peculiar module. It is on strategy execution. Now, McKinsey Consulting Group, who are one of the leading consulting firms in the world on business strategy, seeks to argue that some 48.6% of all companies who go through the trouble of developing strategic plans don't even have the strategy seeing the light of day. I'll say that again. 48.6%. That's quite a number. That is a near 50% of all companies who go through the trouble of developing strategy do not quite understand or do not quite, they are unable to, drive, execute, and implement the strategy. Why does this happen? So we take our time to take you through the strategy execution process. Now, execution is about implementation and controlling the strategy. In other words, ability to implement, control the strategy are encapsulated or embedded in what we call strategy execution. Because there are going to be a lot of external shocks that are going to hit the strategy. And so how to put in the measures to mitigate the organization, the impact of those threats or risks on the firm, the control mechanism, and even implementation and monitoring mechanism, the metrics, the KPIs, how to ensure that there is continuous progress measurement and reporting system to be sure that the strategy that deliver what it is intended to do. Module number 8 is it's not a module we teach you. It's a module where you have the opportunity to practicalize nearly everything you would have gone through with us from module number 1 through to module number 7. So we develop strategic plans by industry. So depending on the sector you are coming from, if you are coming from the financial services sector, you are all put into one group to work on a strategic plan. If you are coming from the telco, from the oil and gas, from the mining sector, from the services sector. And let me especially speak to our colleagues who are coming from the non-profits. We've had several, managers coming from non-profit. The country director of Amnesty International Ghana just finished. I think she was in cohort number 6. We've had directors of passports, the chief director at the presidency. These are guys who lead organizations that do not have profit motive per se. And there is a special arrangement to take care of those of you coming from the non-profit, including the NGOs and etc. We put together a strategy for Compassion International Ghana, for instance, who are not profit motive in nature. So don't be scared that, well, I am not coming from the bank or the MTNs and the rest that are driving strategies to deliver profit. How do we also benefit from this discourse? Lots of non-profits managers and executives have gone through, and the story was a good one for them by the time they ended their session. Right. One may ask, why do I even need to become a certified strategy professional after all? One, certification itself. And when I talk about certification, I'm not just limiting it to strategy. Whether you are an accountant, I am a certified chartered accountant, or you are a project management certified person, or a certified marketer, or certified HR. Certifications in general tell employees, tell your employers that you have the required knowledge and skills in that area. And in this case, business strategy. It gives you credibility and recognition, both local and international. The idea is that, well, you may know strategy already, but who can vouch for you? Which body can say that, well, you have been certified as a strategy expert who understands strategy from the corporate level down to the business unit level, down to how to align a functional strategy to the organization's business strategy? Who can certify that? You may have the knowledge, but without sometimes a formal training with certification, you may not have the recognition and the credibility. Then the next one is how much certification naturally improve your marketability. I normally say that no matter how important something is, the moment it becomes common, the significance is lost or is gone. Degrees are common. Academic certificates are all over the place. So if you pull out that your MBA and the next candidate also pull it out at the interview, the next possible question the interviewers want to find out is, what else do you know that the next certificate or degree holder doesn't know? And for me, this is where the difference comes in. But number 4 is a key one. Certification, especially in strategy, tremendously prepares you for C-suite executive roles. For those of us who are yearning to become C-suite executive, chief executive officer, chief marketing officer, chief operations, chief finance, chief HR. A colleague of mine said he wants to be called a chief. He just wants the title chief to precede his name. And I'm like, chief, what do you want to become? I said, Jeff, it doesn't matter. Chief anything. Because once you get to that C-suite chief level, it's almost as if you have arrived, and all the compensation and all of that. One of the greatest platforms or ladders that propels you to that enviable C-level C-suite executive is professional qualifications, in this case, strategy. Of course, there's increased remuneration. And finally, those who intend to go into private consulting. If you want to be a management consultant specializing in business strategy, this can be a major platform for you to prepare you for that independent or private consultancy career. One may ask, who is eligible? First and foremost, you must strictly be in a management role, or you must be a professional in one area or the other. So I didn't say both. Either you are a manager or you are a professional in an area in order to qualify to sit in this class. It doesn't matter which background you come from as far as technical skills is concerned. Once you are a manager, you are good. Whether you are from finance, HR. We've had chief finance officers of Jospon, Devtraco, Bank Hospital, and all those big guys, Stanbic Bank, go through this. We've had various HR directors, Carl Bank, GCB Bank, Tallow Oil, etc., go through. Whether you have background in sales, in marketing, in operations, from the banking sector, from the non-profit, or purely from the public sector. We will be delivering next month, March, we'll be delivering leadership and strategy lectures to the Ghana Army at the Military Academy of Ghana on leadership and strategy issues. So yes, we deal with the public sector as well. those of you coming from IT background, from engineering background, etc. If you are not in a manager designated as in enjoying the title even, and if you're a manager, it doesn't matter which level of management, whether you are a layer one, that is a junior manager, mid-level manager, or a senior manager, or an executive manager, so long as you are a manager, you are qualified to go through, or you are a professional in one area or the other. We've seen engineers, architects, lawyers. We've seen medical doctors. I don't know what what encourages them to come. I mean, one Dr. Brighter Samoa, he was with SynLab. Even the CEO of SynLab himself, they finished their session not too long ago. Right. What we'd avoid is, I finished university 2 years ago. I just finished my national service. Can I enroll? No, you won't understand the content. Strategy is a high level requirement. And so you must either be a manager or a professional in one area or another in order to qualify to be admitted. It doesn't matter your academic qualification. What is important is you must have enough corporate exposure. And most recently, we've also started, we also now accept entrepreneurs. You are the founder of the business. I mean, you are operating at the strategy level because you direct the actions and inactions of others. And so if you're an entrepreneur or a founder of a business, you are equally qualified to enroll in this program, right? Now, what is the course structure? What is the course structure? This is an 8-week course. We have the physical and the virtual options. If you are signing up for the physical, you take instruction or you take lectures on Saturdays only. Saturdays only. And it is 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the ILS, that's the Institute of Leadership and Strategy Executive Training Center. We are located on the Lagos Avenue. In Ghana, we are that's East Legon. We are not too used to names of streets. And so let me say Mansfield Hotel Stretch, that road on the Mansfield Hotel Stretch. There's a cluster of banks on that stretch. And right behind GT Bank, Guaranteed Trust Bank, is where we are located. Of course, when you just go to Google Map and key in Institute of Leadership and Strategy, it will bring you straight to our Executive Training Center, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for if you intend to sign up for the physical option. There's a 1-hour full lunch break in between, so you don't begin to think that you are seated from 10 to 4 p.m. There are intermittent breaks, all right? Otherwise, you're also signing up for the virtual option, which is Sundays only, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the platform we use is Google Meet. Google Meet is the platform we use, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Again, you don't see it 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. All through. There are intermittent breaks, about 2 or 3 breaks in between the 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Our virtual options are very much as effective as in person. So if you are not in Accra, indeed, we've had several persons outside Accra. The Director of Ports of Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, Takrady, and a few other executives there, sat in Takrady all through and took this course. NIB managers in Kumasi didn't have to travel to Accra. National Health Insurance Authority managers in Wa, Tamale, and the rest. Indeed, we have several of our participants or trainees who are outside of Ghana, from Uganda, Kenya, loads of Nigerians, a couple of people who are in the US, whether they are Ghanaians or non-Ghanaians, but they join from the US, etc. So it's very much effective online too. But for those of you who are right here in Accra, you even have the liberty to switch between the two options. Yes, you don't have to, well, I'm doing Saturday physical. So every Saturday, even if you are hot, you have the liberty every weekend. You decide which of the two suits your schedule for the weekend, so that you can come Saturday physical for the first module, second module where you don't have the time and so you rather join online. The reason is we do it that way is because of the caliber of persons who come through, and so we give you the liberty. And if for any reasons, let's say in an unlikely event that you miss the two, you still have the recorded lecture for Sunday online. to bring yourself to speech in course of the week before you present yourself for a new module in the ensuing weekend. As much as possible, we try to keep the two classes on the same page. So the instructor that delivers the Saturday class is the same instructor to deliver the following day online. And he has to stick to the topical area, the thematic areas, and sometimes, even if possible, the same examples must be provided. That gives you the liberty to switch between the two options as it suits you. All right, good. So let's go to the next. We'll be winding down in a bit. The professional certification exam, we give more details on that. If you, once you enroll, you come for orientation on the first day, you understand a lot more. But let me say this, we are not just running this for purposes of people who want to write the exam. Indeed, let me say this, that those who write the exam are actually less than those who don't write, because we have a lot of people who come to us to say, I just want to understand strategy. I want to be a guru or a skillful person in strategy. Yes, you still earn an internal executive certificate in strategy offered by us, Institute of Leadership and Strategy. But for those of you who intend to sit for the global certification exam in strategy, you are the one I'm speaking to now. It's an online-based multiple choice exam. You will appreciate it some more when you enroll and we are giving the orientation. It's normally competency-based. It's not academic program. And then also exam checks for success in every area of strategy. We don't pick and choose. And so we design our curriculum such that first and foremost, you have standard practice in strategy. And then number two, that content also prepares you to write the professional exam if you so wish to write the examination. So as I mentioned, this is our facility. We are located at East Legon, right behind GT Bank. And this is how some of our inner cycle lecture halls look like. The next cohort is taking off on the 28th of February. People ask us, when is the closing date? Well, we don't run with closing dates. Once the class size is full, we cut admissions. You have to wait for another cohort. And we take not more than 80 candidates per cohort. I didn't say all the 80 people are going to sit in one class. We have small group sessions. We run smaller group sessions. There are sometimes plenary sessions. Of course, there are people in person and there are people online. And so we don't pack you, all the 80 people in one class, but 80 is our ceiling. And whenever the class gets full, other candidates normally wait for another cohort in order to join. So instead of waiting and asking us when is your closing date, just be sure you are part of the 80 and then you are good to go, right? Now, these are our facilitators and resource persons or instructors at the Institute of Leadership and Strategy. Some come in more like full-time, others also come in as part-time and visiting guys. First on the list is Mr. Kwekwa Ochi. Kwekwa Ochi was the chief strategy officer for Anglo Gold Ashanti for several years. I mean, later he became the CEO for Volta River Authority and most recently CEO for Talo Oil Ghana. He currently is the board chairman for UBA and also chairs the board of Multimedia Ghana Limited. And then myself, I'm in the center there. My focus or expertise is in leadership and strategy. I've gone through more than 100 organizations across the country. And then we have Mr. Adolf Pega. Adolf Pega is the chief strategist at the moment for Absa Bank Ghana. He delivers our module 4, for instance, competitive and growth strategy. Then we have Ebo Richardson. Ebo Richardson is a specialist in change management. He actually chaired the committee that transformed Barclays Bank into Absa and shares some very rich stories on change management with us. He's a private consultant at the moment and also an adjunct lecturer with NIPS, Noble International Business School. And then Grace Awochi is the chief finance officer of the bank hospital. He anchors our financial analysis, thematic areas. And then Dr. Samuel Segler is a consultant. He consults mostly with GCB Bank, senior lecturer with GTUC, a leadership and strategy expert. Then we have Wing Commander Samuel Alote. He's a board chairman for Just Spawn Group of Companies. He's a former C-suite executive with Stanbic Bank and currently serving as a senior lecturer with GIMPA, or let me call him an adjunct or visiting lecturer with GIMPA. Michael Abiu is a strategy expert. He's the chief executive officer of MGA Consulting. He also is currently serving as the national president for CIMG, Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana. Bernard Avle, who is the host of the Super Morning, the host of the City Breakfast Show, who also doubles as general manager, serves as a visiting resource person to our strategy students. Then we have Professor Ayas Shafi, who is a visiting professor to us. He's a strategy professor. Then we have, last but one, Mr. Andrew Fenin Okine. Andrew Okine is currently serving as a private management consultant. He was the global chief operating officer of Standard Chartered Bank. And finally, Dr. Patrick Fishen, who served as head of strategy for EcoBank and later chief strategy officer for Standard Chartered Bank. He was the managing director for Sovereign Bank. So these are the guys who deliver our lectures or serve as resource persons and facilitators in our strategy trainings. Once you finish the program, you become a member of, or you register to become a member of the Strategy Professionals Ghana. We do all manner of programs, continuous professional development in strategy, professional networking, and then we also do advocacy. So this, our event, for instance, took off, that was November 2025, last year. A lot of big guys are actually members of this association, professional association, Strategy Professionals Ghana. Right, how do you enroll? Before we sign off, I'll take your questions pretty soon, but let me say that if you have any questions, kindly direct your questions to our hotline by WhatsApp. Just send a text by WhatsApp to the number on your screen, 0244 268672. And that number again is 0244 268672. Kindly direct your questions to that instead of the chat console, because when you put it here, even once we close, it's done. But when you put it on the WhatsApp chat, we would then be able to respond to you even when this meeting closes in the next few minutes. And more so, we would have given you every other information you require. Okay, so that is the hotline on your screen. Now, enrollment, registration fee is 250 cedis. You pay the 250 cedis via mobile money or EcoBank. My next slide will give you our account details, either the mobile money merchant number or the EcoBank account details. So you pay your 250. Once you pay the 250, we'll share a registration voucher with you. It's like a code that guides you to go online, key in your details. Once you log onto our website and key in that code, the admission form will open up to you. You fill in your details, you submit. The whole process lasts just about 4 to 5 minutes online, and then you submit. Thereafter, we process your admission. Normally it's 2 to 3 working days, and then we'll give you an admission letter, and that then books you a seat in the lecture hall. The program fee itself is 12,800 Ghana cedis. 12,800 Ghana cedis is the fee. That's just about $1,000. That's just about $1,000. It is actually even payable in 2 installments. So we are not requiring that you pour the entire 12,800 before you take off. You only pay 50% at takeoff, and then you pay the other 50% before the session ends. Tuition covers virtually everything. You don't pay a CD again, from your tuition to your materials to your certificate, lunch for those who will come for physical class, etc. And also your executive certificate in strategy. Your executive certificate in strategy. Now, next cohort starts, which is the 9th cohort, starts on Saturday, 28th February 28th, 2026. For those of you who are doing the online for the very first module, you are reporting, or you are taking off on Sunday, March 1. First March will be your first lecture, while the in-person guys take off on the very last day of February, that's 28th. The online people take off on the very first day of March. Once you send us a text by WhatsApp to this number on your screen, 0244 26 86 72, the administrators are on standby to guide you through the process on how to sign up or enroll for our 9th cohort of the professional certification in strategy. So on your screen are the account details, but once you WhatsApp us, all this information I'm giving you will be on your phone in any case. So you have the our merchant mobile money number, 024 160 2541. That number again is 024 160 2541. But those of you who intend to do bank transfer, our bank is EcoBank. Our bankers are EcoBank, Legon branch. The account detail, account number is right on your phone. The account name for both the EcoBank and MTN is simply Institute of Leadership and Strategy. All right, so that then brings me to the end of my presentation. Don't be in a hurry to sign off. Let me kindly answer the questions. Administrators, if there are any questions, you can project them on the screen, and then let me provide answers to them before we sign off. One is asking, can lecturer who doesn't hold any leadership position in academia but holds PhD in leadership eligible? No, we actually are not too interested in PhDs. We are not condemning PhD. You can have your PhD, but if you have never practiced as a senior manager or a strategy expert, you can't teach in our platform. On our platform, our courses are not academic program; they are professional. So whether you have a PhD or not, you must have proven to us that you have been exposed to, or you have been in a senior management role for minimum 10 years before you can be an instructor at the Institute of Leadership and Strategy. So whether you have an MBA or it is PhD, it's not too important to us than if you listen to the background of the people I introduced as the instructors, you must be in a C-suite role yourself. You must have been there for 10 years or more and have a good exposure to strategy before we can accept you, please. All right. Can I have the next question, please? So somebody is asking, please, would you award us with certificates? Yes, you have an executive certificate in strategy from the Institute of Leadership and Strategy. However, if you decide to sit for the global certification exam in strategy, then you are issued with a certified strategy professional certificate. That doesn't come from us. That comes from the global strategy certification body, for which we are the local representatives. We represent the global body in Ghana, but we don't conduct that exam and we don't issue that certificate. But we guide you, you write the exam. Several of your colleagues who have come before you have written the exam under our watch and are now globally certified professionals in strategy. Right. Let me respond to the next question. Is this profession recognized globally? You know the answer is yes. Strategy, professional strategy qualification is recognized in every country. All right, so it's a global certification. You can actually study in Ghana, go write the exam in Canada, and practice in Kenya. It is recognized everywhere. All right, next question. All right, I guess that will be all, folks. We are immensely grateful for your time with us. We fervently, look forward to having you enroll, and then we see you in our class come 28th of this month, February. And for those of you who will be online, we look forward to seeing you 1st of March. So you just go through the process. After listening to this, it helps you to make a decision. And then if you decide to take the course, you enroll, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you all. Do have a great weekend ahead of you. Good evening.
Distinguished executive strategy leaders, industry captains, and of course, fellow professionals, we would like to warmly welcome all of you. In our traditional parlance, we say Akwaba. Tonight, it's not just an inauguration of an association, but we are activating a movement. a movement that will dictate the pace and the direction of this country and the continent as a whole.
This evening is a response to a simple research document I came across. And that Boston Consulting Group's research sought to suggest that managers at the lower level have as much as 72% of them not understanding or appreciating what strategy is. And we felt that we could respond to that gap, that shortfall. That is our greatest motivation for bringing together practitioners of strategy to advance the cause of strategy practice, particularly in corporate Africa. By developing managers and professionals and executives in strategy, from strategic leadership to strategic planning to strategy development to the control. That is one key thematic area we don't joke with in the executive class, strategy control. At this juncture, we want to do a launch of the Professional Association. Officially, the name is Strategy Professionals Ghana.
4, 3, 2, 1. This is SPG.
Looking forward to having organizations build giant businesses in Africa. And we thought that one of the greatest tools we could use to do that is when there is key strategy knowledge among leaders who drive these organizations.
want to officially welcome you all to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy, where we are passionate about developing leaders and corporate executives. And so once again, you're officially welcome to the Institute of Leadership and Strategy.
How do you build a complete institution of the sort and resign from it? And I always remind them, stepping back is part of leadership.
All I want to say is that we don't take these decisions arbitrarily or based on intuition.
I felt very included in today's discussions. The lecturer today was also very exciting, very innovative, and he definitely kept the class alive.
The orientation, the delivery has been perfect, and I am so excited.
Naturally, systems are evolving, organizations are evolving, and you cannot afford to remain static. You need to be strategic in your approach in solving problems.
The first day has been very impressive. I've met a number of people already. I think that this environment creates the right opportunity to network with people of like-mindedness and also, connect business-wise.